All right, folks, welcome back to little PopsToberFest talk. That's right. Little spooky, silly, creepy movies that I enjoy watching. And with me, as always, this guy. It seems appropriate that I'd have him in the house. And as last time, we left off with some werewolf shenanigans. We talked about the
Mhm,
Howling movies. And we said, hey, you know what? Neither one of us had ever seen this movie. So I said, hey, let's
mhm.
put this right to the front of the line. And Tubi insisted because Tubi is like totally like, hey, you like this movie, you'll love these. I
Yeah,
never watched Wolfen. Baron is back with me. He's never watched Wolfen. Brother, thank you so much for doing this, man. Thanks for hanging out.
happy to be here. As always, enjoy these little talks, and yeah, I mean, it was the same thing for me. I got done watching The Howling the last time, and it instantly popped up. Hey, you want to watch Wolfen? Wolfen? It's like, no, I want to see The Howling too. You figure that would be kind of natural progression, but no, it kept on insisting on that.
Yeah.
So this is the year of the wolf. How apropos I'm talking about those things because you sit back and talk about it with the Wolfman Jack, and I tell you,
Ooh, now that is an old school reference for you. Wolfman Jack references for sure.
Hey, I'm Wolfman Jack, and I just want to let you in on what I think is a fantastic collection of 45 of the best 45s. You know, if your Wolfman says they the best, you better believe it. Man, when it comes to music, I know, Flo. These original oldies but goodies are all close friends who's gonna be right there with you when you need them. I tell you, this record collection captures all the original raptures of the 50s and the 60s, some of the best groups, best artists, and best songs. Oh, I tell you, I love this business, and I love those great old songs, too. Yes, indeedy, Speedy, the old Wolfman's presenting a rockin' toast to the rollin' most, with artists like Little Richard, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Richie Valens, the Shirelles, the Crests, Jerry Butler, the Turtles, the Isley Brothers, and so many, many more. You know, sharing is caring, so Fairway Records and I want you to enjoy the original 45 of the best of the 45. And I mean to tell you, there's so many fantastic hits here, it takes 3 records to hold them all. It's a toe-curling blend of sunshine and sound, and you won't find it on any floor of any store. No way, Ray, because this set won't be offered anywhere but right here. So get down with the old Wolfman and get the best. 3 records with 45 of the best 45s, and it's only $7.99 for all 3 records. Only $9.99 for 2 big 8-track tapes. I tell you, you're gonna love it. I mean, when it comes to music, the old Wolfman knows. If I'm lying, I'm dying. 45 of the best 45s. So let me hear from you. And remember, the old Wolfman loves you. Yes, I do.
All right, so spoiler alert. If you've never seen this movie, we will be deep in this movie. And right off the bat, I want to say, if you've never watched the movie, I'm going to tell you it's not really a Wolfman movie. It's not a
Mm-mm.
werewolf movie. In fact, I'm incredibly surprised by how this movie's been handled over the years that people haven't sort of
Mhm.
like disclosed what this movie is. So Year of
Yeah.
the Wolf's fine, Howling and American Werewolf in London. This poor movie comes out in the middle of all that, and they really should have just pushed this movie back for like 6
Mhm.
months or something. I don't understand why they didn't do that. I think this movie is almost like street level crime mystery that feels almost like I'm watching like Serpico. Like it
Yeah.
feels like you're on the streets of New York.
Wolfen. They can sense the rhythm of your blood. Hear clouds pass overhead. See where you are blind. A force so deadly it will tear the scream from your throat. Wherever you are, they are. Wolfen. Rated R. Now playing. Check newspaper for local listing.
And then some sort of like Indian folklore meets the wolf. And if you're into that part, I think you're really going to love this movie. It is not what you would expect. So,
No.
uh, yeah, that's the general gist of the movie. And actually, Baron, I don't know about if you knew this. This is one of the few times that I can get through a whole bunch of IMDb photos of the movie actually in order. So I'm pleasantly able to say, folks, we'll walk through some beginning elements. Normally, if you've been on here, I share from IMDb photos because clips and videos tend to get copyright claimed. It's easier to
Right.
just navigate through some photos. But they've got this thing now with the ordering. They'll have like the premiere of the movie. They're all mixed up. They're all jumbled. This one at least kind of goes in order where we have this brief shot of these two people we don't know anything about. They're on
Mm-hmm.
this roof. They're doing this thing, which turns out, oh no, they're on the bridge, they're on the Brooklyn Bridge, and then we
Mm-hmm.
cut to New York that's being demolished and renovated during the uh, early 80s, late 70s, and this rich couple, and they're going about their business, and they go to this little windmill area where there's sort of like this dedication that's been done, and then basically during this moon they're stalked. Now, here's one of the first shots that you get. They use this sort of technology that most people would be familiar with in Predator, where they
Mm-hmm.
modify the look of the camera. And that's supposed to be the eyes of whatever it is that's attacking them. And at this point in the movie, nobody knows,
Mm-hmm.
and they get murdered. All three of them get murdered. And it was reasonably done well. And then we cut to the police officer. His name is Dewey. He has sort of some sort of background that basically he definitely follows all of these 70s 80s tropes of the cop that doesn't want to follow the rules and doesn't dress like them, and he's going to be the guy
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be called in and called in on a payphone, by the way, which I love that.
Yeah.
Like he has a beeper, which I actually don't remember beepers being that common in the late 70s early 80s, but that makes sense that he would have
Mm-hmm.
had a beeper for police. And then he's
Mm-hmm.
going to go to the crime scene and then basically be on this case to figure out what's going on. And then we meet Gregory Hines. I know I'm going quickly, but
Mm-hmm.
Gregory Hines was confusing in his introduction because it turns out he is actually part of like the coroner's office, or at least he's a
Yeah.
detective. When you first see him, you think maybe he's just a junkie on the street. And he's going to be like, it's just, the movie is not what you would expect. It is not a
Mm-hmm.
werewolf movie like Howling or American
Mm-hmm.
Werewolf in London. Just set those completely aside. Do not go into that with that expectation. At least you'll be a lot more open minded. Baron, were you surprised at how different this was from the expectations, like me?
Yeah. I mean, some people tried to categorize this as a werewolf film uh before, and maybe that's to confuse. And there's definitely little tricks that they were doing in there to make you believe that, such as and in the beginning when you see the guy on top of the Brooklyn Bridge, Edward James Olmos. Can you believe that? That's Edward James Olmos.
I was going to get to it.
And
There's a shocking scene later on. You're like, "Whoa, I cannot believe this is Edward James Olmos." I just couldn't
yeah,
believe it.
yeah, exactly. And with this, this is more like the hard-boiled 70s films like you were talking about, typical, and uh the one with Popeye Doll, with Gene Hackman. I got
Oh yeah,
enough
French
Popeye.
Connection.
French
Yeah,
Connection, stuff
yeah,
like that, and it's
right.
filmed that way. I mean, it's beautiful cinematography of that they're going through on that film. Again, I mean, these films that we've been seeing, we've been lucky with how wonderful it looks around it. Even the destruction of that section of New York, which I'm sure was used for many a dystopian type movie before they got it fully cleared out. Like things like Escape from New York, things
Yep.
like that. It does give you a red herring again with Edward James Olmos' character, you know, because the way he's talking, it's all about in the mind. I can turn into, basically going with the legend of the shapeshifters, the skinwalkers
Yep.
that they have,
Yep.
and it starts going, oh, is this really gonna be some sort of werewolf movie? It's this no, so they were doing a successful job of putting that red herring in front of you,
Yeah,
and it's great.
they bring in a little female detective, psychological expert on the right. They bring in
Hmm.
this little psychotic. She's sort of like an anti-government. She's not really. They kind of allude that she's sort of got like terrorist ties or whatever, and they kind of get to
Yeah.
something. It's another weird sidebar thing this movie kind of throws in at you,
Hmm.
and they're going to go on this thing. You basically have this massive detective case set against this sort of like deluge of what's left of this area of New York
Hmm.
with all these different characters. Um, and I'm with you. I think my favorite part of all this is the fact that it was sort of like taking place in the middle of this area of New York and what happened. And again, this is that technology that they use with this
Hmm.
attack of this predator, whatever this is. At least at this point, we're all thinking it's some sort of werewolf. The movie has
Hmm.
been billed as such.
Yep.
I've never heard anyone. I mean, I actually remember someone, and this was probably 20 years ago when they caught me up in the middle of the Halloween thing about me talking about how much I love American Werewolf in London. That was definitely the one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've come to really, especially after this last rewatch, really have to give Howling its due and,
Yeah.
and give it a lot more credit than I had previously. And they were like, "Oh, you've never seen Wolfen? You're gonna love Wolfen even more." And I'm thinking to myself, in hindsight, are you a crazy person? Like these are two movies that shouldn't even be compared to each other. I
Mm-hmm.
feel I don't even know how to explain it, guys. I really don't. It is more you said it. It's a hard-boiled cop mystery
Mm-hmm.
film with these murders with this weird thing. You do get sort of a reveal that there is some sort of wolf and
Mm-hmm.
outright we'll get to it. But you have all
Mm-hmm.
these different backstories. Oh, tons of character. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was laughing. I
Mhm.
was laughing at Baldy. Baldy shows
Yep.
up,
Jesus, didn't that guy ever have hair?
and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Mr. Strickland never had hair."
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good
Yeah,
old James Tolkien.
love it, loved it. He's really just kind of on and off. Baldy's beautiful sign in the background made me laugh. Um, there's just this mystery about the hair fibers, and by the
Mhm.
way, the science is fast and loose. It makes no sense whatsoever. By the way, I and ironically enough, I've just recently watched Murders in the Rue Morgue, which is a 1932 Bela Lugosi film from back in the day with this ape thing, and they're fast as loose
Mhm.
to science in that as well. It's like they literally go over to this tuft of hair and go, "See, that's clearly not human." I'm like, you would not be able to tell from random hair fibers. That's, and then it's like this movie is like all about, oh, we're going to identify this and this. It's just a random microscope. It's not
Yeah.
DNA testing. It's not the kind of level that you would have to have, but it's okay. It's all fine.
Mhm.
Uh, and it's this street crime murder stuff that's happening. Uh,
Mhm.
Again, look, this is in this church that's sort of ground zero for all this. That makes you feel like, oh, it's going to be a werewolf movie. Clearly, it's going to be a werewolf movie, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
okay, so long for the ride.
Tons of props for that red herring that they put in there. Tons of props. A lot of people don't know how to do that properly. They did.
Yeah, they really kind of bait and switch you. They definitely have attack moments and deaths when they
Mhm.
bring in another expert, and again another character that comes in, and it's all about the wolf and the shape shifting and the Indians
Mhm.
and oh man, Del Birdie. Oh yeah, I was like,
Yep.
oh man,
I was
yeah.
I was going to say our friend from Invasion USA coming in there, and again showing what a great actor he is or
He is
was.
really good. He doesn't really have lines until the latter half of the movie, so yeah, Del
Mhm.
Birdie's great. Has to go out into this little scaffolding to see Edward James Olmos, and
Yeah.
then kind of just navigate through. Just beautiful though. Look at how beautifully this is
Yeah.
shot. It's just done really well. I loved it all,
Mhm.
and I think that it they're setting all this up very much. If this Edward James Olmos, he takes this drug from the other
Mhm.
medicine, maybe older, and you feel like, okay, this is going to be the Indian transformation movie. Okay, so he's the wolf. This is what we're doing.
Mhm.
Does not go as you expect. And we
Mm-mm.
see a lot of Edward James Olmos that I'm glad I didn't have a 4K high def version of this movie to see more of Edward James Olmos than I would ever
Mhm.
need to see. So Tubi was good enough. I don't need to own
Mhm.
a 4K 65-inch version of this
Mm-mm.
movie. Uh,
No, no. It's like this was an age before manscaping. Let's just put it that way.
it was definitely no manscaping, no holding back, total fearlessness as a performer. Got to give him credit
Mhm.
for that. And then
But
they're
the
just
one thing, yeah, total, but the one thing, even through because he's not the only one. Obviously we saw the bodies and such. The way they hit it though, with this scene, with the lighting,
Mhm.
are the other ways. So the coroner room, it was so believable because most of the times, they do little tricks or whatever, but you've seen the full body laid out, the men and women, but they do photography tricks to make sure the explicit stuff is properly hidden
Mhm.
as much as possible. And so I bring that up to a level of artistic. It's like
Yeah.
it's kind of necessary. This is a coroner's room. I've never seen so many bodies in a coroner room in a movie before. Um, but it's not gratuitous. Even the scene with Edward James Olmos was not gratuitous.
No, they
There
didn't
was a
take
purpose
advantage of
behind it.
us. They just did it, like you said. I think artsy is a appropriate way to describe the tactics.
Hmm.
But we're definitely into our Indian
Hmm.
folklore, shape shifting, the wolf stuff, the pack that's happening here.
Hmm.
This is a stakeout that he and the other guy has. I don't understand how we go from his role early in the movie as more of like a quasi detective science expert to, hey, you're going to be on the sniper out with me. They don't set
Yeah.
any of that up. They just do it.
No.
Then we have the wolf appear. The wolf attacks. So he doesn't have wolf man in this movie. It is a wolf. So
Hmm.
I have to be honest. I was pretty shocked that we're going to go full on wolf.
Hmm.
Now, American Werewolf in London has an interesting approach to that as well, but obviously they're not using, trained wolves like this movie
Hmm.
did. This movie actually used some trained wolves.
Right.
So my surprise level in this movie is close to like a 9. I was like, I am completely surprised by this movie. And I don't mean that
Hmm.
like, hey, jump scares or anything like that. This is just
Hmm.
not what I expected at all in a movie. And I feel terrible for this movie to be marketed and have a legacy that's tied to Halloween and horror around a werewolf type
Hmm.
mythos. That is not this movie at all. This
No.
is at every time of the year. If you're in for a
Yeah.
interesting, hard-boiled crime drama with some sort of Indian folklore wolf stuff sort of tagged to it, it
Hmm.
is fascinating. It's interesting. So
Yeah.
Thursday at 8, 7 Central.
Is it an animal?
If you have a taste for terror,
Something out there might be eating people.
be sure to catch Wolfen. Parental discretion advised. Thursday.
I mean, I would call this anything but
mhm,
a Halloween movie. It's supernatural,
mhm.
not really horror, but supernatural thriller. And like you're saying about the jump scares. Well, even the scene with Gregory Hines there, we know what's happening. Is that jump scare there because we're seeing through the wolf,
Yeah.
and we're hearing the sound. It's like he turns around and not a jump scare there because it's there. The
Yep.
wolf is there going, dinner. You know, that sort of
And
thing.
they didn't make any effort to get you off the red herring because they have another sit down with more conversation
Mm-hmm.
and more discussion in this little bar, and then we're going to get to this sort of height of the movie where we have the wolves basically surround them, and we have this sort of like effect really come full circle. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I want your take because I'm going to say it, hot take or not, you guys decide. I hated this effect. I
Yeah.
hated it. I hated it increasingly as the more the movie went on because it's removing all of that tension. You know what's going to happen because you know it's right there. You know the creature
Mm-hmm.
is right there. There is no chance for a jump scare. There's no surprise. There's no real
Mm-hmm.
twist. You're immersed into that point of view. I think that if they had just done point of view type stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe interspersed close-up shots with far shots, not showing
Mm-hmm.
where whatever the being was, it might be
Mm-hmm.
more immersive and catch you a little bit more off guard. But like you said, you're never really surprised because you know the wolf is right there. And once you
Right.
figure out they're actual wolves, you're like, okay, well, it's really not surprising now. You guys are just in the line of sight of the wolf. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So that was
Mm-hmm.
probably my biggest negative, is that they use that filter in a way that kind of takes away I don't want to say stakes. It takes away tension, I guess, is the best
Yeah.
way to describe it. So
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And that's kind of the point. As the film got along, for me, when you get to that point, like this point, as you're kind of ramping up towards the ending, I think it kind of falls apart because of that.
yeah.
It's not really. I mean, there's stakes there. There's stakes there, but it's not. In some ways, it's confusing.
I was very
You know,
confused, actually.
yeah.
I was getting increasingly confused because then it wasn't a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pack of wolves, right? There's pack of wolves. This one's supposed to be the leader. and there's different attack. He runs away from them, so of course it knew how to get in the car. I don't know how it knew how to get in the car, but it did. And then it creates chaos because he shoots at the car and the car explodes. So he hit the explode button, and you have just this little finale, this little thing where he's face to face with the white one, which is the leader, and he basically decides that he would destroy the model. It would somehow communicate that, hey, by the way, you're safe. You don't have to do any of this. Now, what's weird is we've had to use some exposition to make the audience have a clue to what's going on. Because on the surface, the audience can't possibly have a clue to what's going on because it's been too much red herring. It's been too much misleading the audience into a person that's becoming a wolf doing the killings. And now you're like, oh, it's not. The Wolfen is this pack of wolves that's almost supernatural, almost like gods, who live among us. They live among us. They just do. And they clean up all of the sort of like scraps of humanity to feed on. That's how they survive. And the point of the movie was, New York, you're destroying this area, and this is where they feed. So by getting into this area, you're encroaching on them. We have to presume, though, that somehow the Wolfen knows that it's those rich people that are behind it all, because they didn't attack them during the shovel ceremony. They attacked them at night when it was just him and his chick and his body. Like the suspension of us to plug together the plot holes that it makes for itself is so frustrating because it didn't have to be this complicated, did it? It just didn't have to be that complicated. I was so frustrated. Like you said, I was confusing because I was like, my brain was like, they've made so many problems for themselves that they didn't need to make, and now they've kind of made a mess of things. So
they had that enigma inside an enigma inside of an enigma. It's like, okay, now how do we solve this? And that's exactly what we're looking at for this film, which of course again is the thing that makes it, in my book, lower up some of what my rating would be for. But the performances are so great. You know, you're watching that, and it's kind of convoluted. We do find out one thing, though, that it's not just New York that this happening, and you're having these situations like this, like in Philadelphia, I think they said, and other cities, Chicago, whatever.
Sure.
So they're all in there, in that because, well, I mean, there's the cultural, the environmental impact that there's impacting the encroachment thing. I mean, you know, basically that's what we're kind of looking at for the message of the film. It's like, you know, how the American Indian were, you know, whatever. And then, of course, he's explaining what an apple is to his partner. And which was real strife between people back at that time. Are you a real one or not, type of thing. Now, of course, then, you know, out of their spiritual folklore, and, you know, some still, you know, believe it as a religion, so I'll give it that too. Don't want to be insulting at all, but, you know, how the wolf, the fox, coyote, these things were so prevalent in certain tribes, in certain nations that we had in the North American continent. So, you know, it's kind of meshed together is, you know, the lost identity of American Indians, taking away their hunting spaces.
Yep. It's not a soft metaphor that it kind of fell into. It becomes a very heavy-handed metaphor where it's almost like the Indians believe this Wolfen is the gods, basically doing what should be done. It just, you know, so. And look, here's the problem: the movie is just marketed and billed and handled in a completely improper way. And I think if you had just boiled this down to a hard-boiled crime thing with its little twist in it, that would have been good enough. It didn't need to have the weird overuse. I don't even have a problem with the effect in some ways. It's just so overused that you ruin every tension any moment. You never get a thing. Like when the black dude that's junky is just wandering through and you know he's going to get killed. They shouldn't have shown the effect at all. They should have just had it come out. And actually, it would have been better to have the big reveal is that there's not one of them, there's multiple, by hearing a pack literally rip the man alive. It would have been easier to have the
Mhm.
big reveal to the audience that there's a whole bunch of these wolf things, not just one. Show a
Mhm.
white one, show a black one, show a gray one, and just do it in random cuts really fast. And it would have had increase in tension
Yeah.
for us in the audience going, oh man, there's not one, there's multiple. We don't even know if they're werewolves or not. We just know there's multiple creatures being something. That was
Yeah.
definitely the biggest thing there.
And you use everything at your disposal. You don't need to have it through the eyes. You can just, the sound effect. Like, the junk, he's out there and all of a sudden he's hearing, what's that? And so we're getting the audible version of the visual.
Yeah.
And, mix it up a little bit. That helps bring that tension. It's like, okay, we know the one, now we know the other. And let's face it, what's sometimes the most scary thing there can be is, what's that sound?
Yeah, what's out there to get me? I say this all
Yeah.
the time in the woods. If you come out to visit my property, it's pitch black at night, and we turn off all the lights. So we have lights everywhere. We turn off the lights, pitch black. A squirrel and a bear sound the same. Just letting you know.
Oh, yeah.
When you're in the woods, it's pitch black out there. A squirrel and a bear sound the same. So it gets you. You have a flight or a fight or flight response that you cannot control. If you don't have one, I guess you're really well trained or immune to death. I don't know. So
yeah, it's
incredible cast. I've always heard that Albert Finney was supposed to be something, like he was sort of like this. Hollywood loved him and wanted to make him more of a leading man. He was up for different roles that he didn't get and all that. I never had seen a film that I thought, oh, I can see it. I get where they're coming from. And this is the first time I felt like, oh, I can see the leading man gravitas for this type of role. You know what I mean? Like The French Connection or something. I can see it. It works really well. Gregory Hines was great. We talked about all the different casts. The cast is fine, right?
Great.
Except
Wonderful.
I'm going to have a very mean and cruel thing to say. And I am sorry, ma'am. I'm totally sorry. Diane Venora. She's been in other stuff.
Yeah.
I never noticed it in any of her other work, but there are close-up shots. She has a lazy eye. She has the illness that causes this, but it doesn't stay, so it moves around a little bit. But they have several shots where her eye is off, and it's very distracting to take her serious in those scenes. It's not consistent. It's not like she just looks this way, and it's like she'll look on like this shot, like it's normal, and the next you'll see another shot, her eye is moved. And you're like, okay, I'm very distracted. Now, I know it's cruel and it's mean to bring all that up because it's not her problem that she has this health problem. I fault the cinematographers and the director for not being aware of how to handle that so it doesn't distract us in the audience. That's actually why I'm bringing it up. I don't really care if she had a lazy eye the whole time. I probably would have just been, oh, she has a lazy eye. Okay, that's just. But it changes. Baron, am I being too cruel? You can rail me in if I'm being too cruel. I'm trying to explain why I think it's a problem.
Well, the one part is I like the fact that you have that lazy eye because, again, it's not, of course, she didn't obviously choose to have it, but it does give it a little bit more of a serious, not typical, the seriousness of the film, all that, but it's how you film, just like you said. It's the cinematographer, it's the director, all that, and they could incorporate it in the movie well just by doing certain shots a certain way, and so they didn't do her justice. The lazy eye, it's in and by itself, didn't bother me, and I like the fact that, oh great, we're not going for the typical glamour, and again, natural beauty she has.
She's beautiful. She's a beautiful lady, and it's pulled off well. Like you said, they just didn't do her right. It's not a problem it's not a problem in Heat. No. And I don't remember it in The Jackal being a problem. She's in The Jackal, but I know Heat is not a problem. I think it's just the way it's shot and the way it's handled. It just creates a distraction for certain scenes and certain shots, and that's unfair to the story, and it's definitely unfair to the actress. I do feel bad for her.
Yeah, she was done dirty. With that.
Yeah, with how that part was handled.
Right, exactly.
Overall, though, the problem is I like the movie. but I'm up against all of the issues that I also have with the movie. And again,
Yeah.
when all of your billing for literally decades has always been like this,
Right.
this is your billing. This is your, your DVD boxes,
Mm-hmm.
your posters. This is
Right.
it. This did not come across as
Yeah.
being anything other than like a Halloween wolf. I mean, it's in a year when these other wolf movies are. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so frustrating.
That's why on
But
purpose it said the year of the wolf, because
yeah,
not everything was werewolf. And it doesn't help that first poster, which beautiful,
yeah,
because
beautiful.
you're getting that sense of the universal horror, right? Poster. That's some of the what I was getting. The one before that
There
one.
is no defense. Look at that.
No defense for that one. No defense for that one. Or even that one. But that first one, again, misleading because it looks like a Hammer film. One more.
That one.
No, one more. I think it's the first one that one right there, right?
Yep.
Look at that. That looks like it's something. I mean, I think it's a wonderful poster. It'll be a wonderful poster for anything but this movie. But you can see there, the influence of that one is like the universal film, horror film. So it's like, oh, it's they're trying to give an image of this is a modern werewolf take. And it would have been interesting if the movie was that way, but it's refreshing that it wasn't.
Yeah. So I'm going to be pretty solid on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I have to be fair that it's not the movie's real fault that it's marketed. But if I'd gone to see it, I would have been just as equally. So I'm going to lean into a 3.5 out of 5 for me. I'm probably even a little on the high side. I don't know how I'm going to feel about the rewatch experience when I rewatch it again.
Right.
But I feel like I want to watch it in like March or something. I want to watch it some random time of the year away from all of this and feel a better sense of it as its crime drama core instead of it being associated as a Halloween or scary or thrilling type movie, because it doesn't really deliver on any of that kind of stuff, to be perfectly honest. So that's gauge that score with your expectation, because if you're wanting another Howling or American Werewolf in London, or you want some jump scare suspense, this movie is going to massively disappoint you. So I don't know. What say you, Baron?
Okay, what say me? Well, one, you're talking about the cast. I mean, of course, we got Albert Finney, who and in the same year did the movie Looker.
Yeah.
Which is a revolutionary film. And now we're seeing what Michael Crichton was trying to tell us 40 years later. I mean, Michael Crichton, I mean, what can you say about him? But of course, Edward James Olmos. We had Gregory Hines. We had, as we go, James Tolkien in a nice small role. But hey, it's like, hey, you're expecting, that tough guy when he's not that tough guy. But in the VOs, you have Linda Gary, who, if you like the He-Mans, that was Tila. She played Tila and all that. So you get her doing some of the voice work as the operators for the security firm that they got. And of course, you brought up, of course, Dirk Birdie, or Birdie. So it's nice to see him in something that wasn't Invasion USA. Oh, strong cast. There's a plus. A great buildup. That's a great on there. It looks good. Finney had that had a very solid. It's like, is there a way we can use him again in a film like this? Not even necessarily the supernatural aspect, just a detective like that. Can you take Dewey Wilson and put him into another situation after all this? The downside is the relationship that Wilson and Neff had. I mean, why are they going like aardvarks? What was a buildup for that? There was no buildup for them shagging each other. It was superfluous. It took away. And it's like, couldn't you just left it as a fact that they were just working as partners? You know, Mulder and Scully, you know, something like that. And so
it was a weirdly shot scene because they did this wolf perspective in it, which makes no sense because the wolf would literally almost have to be like standing over them while they're in bed. It made no sense whatsoever in the context of the film either. So yeah, I couldn't agree more about that.
Unless it was in spiritual form. I mean, because I know it doesn't make it doesn't make sense at all. And of course the convolutedness as we get to the end, and like when the police department comes running in and starts opening fire left and right, and there's nothing there, and Albert Finney screaming at them to stop because it's just him and Neff in there. It's like that is one of the most unprofessional things I've seen in a movie about law enforcement. Let's go in with guns a-blazing. And so that takes I give it 3 popcorns, so because again how they've shot it, the backgrounds, them in Battery Park, even in the ruins. It's like, oh yeah, I remember seeing this in movies like The Warrior and Escape from New York and all that. A perfect apocalyptic. It's like, okay, when is the mutants coming out? And how they use the ugliness of the destruction so beautifully and artistically. And when you did have where people are naked, again, they were doing a very good job not being gratuitous about it. So, I mean, that's a plus. That's a plus there. So with that convoluted ending, some of the silliness, the sexual relationship, which for me, it just doesn't make sense. Boy, I wish it was that easy. I wish I could just go, hey, how's it going? Hey, look at this. Hey, it's some hair. Want to go to bed?
It has a lot of positives, and it has some moments that are very well crafted and shot very well. That has other elements that are not. I feel like I have a story of, if this were today, I would be telling you or asking you if you think there was a lot of Hollywood notes or a producer's notes or just stuff that changed direction, something like that. But this movie kind of went on a little. It's got a little bit of a mythos of what. So I don't really think that's any of the case. I think this is just what they wanted to make as an adaptation and the message they wanted. But anyway, folks, I don't know. You guys tell us what you think. If you ever seen Wolfen, and if you have, what are your thoughts? This is our first watch experience of this movie. We've never seen it before. It will be interesting to revisit this movie away from this time of the season to get a feel for it as the actual hard-boiled cop crime drama that it really is at its core, with less of the wolf and the you perfectly said it early on, the red herring of the werewolf. It was a complete red herring, totally captured us off guard. So I don't know.
And of course the one negative I also give it to, because the 3 popcorn bucket of popcorn for me is of course the heavy-handed ending. But that's what you were getting with some of those 70s films. They wanted to kind of end on this kind of pseudo lecturing, you might say. And of course, this is a leftover from all that, obviously. And I think they could have done that a little bit better.
Yeah, that crime drama era too. It's that feel. It feels like, Mean Street, Serpico, French Connection. It just feels like those type of films with how it's made and constructed, but with this weird werewolf overtone that didn't need to be so heavy-handed and shot the way they did. And I feel like they're just trying to see themselves as being so clever with using that camera effect, and it totally ruins certain elements because it's so overused. So anyway, that's our general take on it, folks. You guys can decide as we kind of cruise along through here with some PopsToberFest conversations. You guys let us know. And thanks for watching, everybody. Check out Baron's stuff in the description, of course. And I am Pops. Take care, everybody.